What a do CFC crew, we're back here with another video, and man, we haven't done a video in quite a while, and today our video is surrounded about the transfer that just happened in this window. We're going to be going through Arsenal, Chelsea, United, Man City and PSG, and obviously with me we've got Amir. Amir, how excited are you today?
I'm very excited, especially to talk about transfers. Right, it's one of the best part about being a football fan, the transfer window. But it's finally slammed shut, and we can talk about all the deals that have gone through. Some very exciting, transfers that have gone through in the name in the list of the clubs that you've just said. So should be an interesting chat because I'm definitely looking forward to some banter against the Arsenal ones, but that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving it too. But before we get into it, guys, you guys gotta right now. You guys gotta subscribe, like the video, and comment who your favorite transfer window was this season. And we're gonna get to ours at the end of the video. So before anything, let's get right into Arsenal. Now, guys, Arsenal had their signings and they spent over 150 million pounds this summer. They got Ramsdale, Ben White, the Japanese guy. Oh man, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name like.
I think his surname was Tomoyasu. Was it Tomoyasu? I think Tomoyasu.
Man, I just call him the Japanese, fullback, centre back, because I don't know. But that was their window. They've obviously spent the most out of any team this window. We'll go to Amir first, and we'll say thoughts on the signings.
I mean, Arsenal transfer window, it's really hard to say because none of their signings particularly have been bad. But then at the same time, do they necessarily improve the starting 11? I'm not sure. And, the amount that they've spent as well, I don't think they've improved their team with the amount that they've spent. I mean, if you tell someone that a team has spent upwards of, it's more than 150 million pounds, I think. And, you come out looking not that much better than what you'd looked like last season. So it's really going to be an interesting one. I know that, the start to the season, of course, there's been some debate about the new signings. There's been there've been some injuries and stuff like that. So it's not fair to judge, all the signings until all of them are together in the starting 11, in their strongest possible starting 11. But at the same time, I don't think most of their signings are starting quality worthy either, right? So it's been a really strange window from them, honestly. I thought they should have prioritized it. They should have looked at what all positions they need up first and then, spent money accordingly. But they haven't done that. They've just gone on and spent, loads of money in every possible position. So I don't know. It's an extraordinary window. That's all I have to say.
No, I agree with the part where they've just signed secondary players. My opinion, everyone there is a secondary player except for possibly Odegaard and possibly because they have now the centre backs, Ben White. Now, obviously, we've all known Ben White was overpriced. Odegaard was already in the squad. This Japanese defender, no one's really seen much about him. Obviously, Arsenal fans, and Rams are the secondary keeper. So ultimately, what do you rate this final score from Arsenal, including the price? With all of them,
I mean, it would have to be 6 out of 10, I think, or the max I'm willing to go is 7 out of 10, considering a few of their signings are good. So I would have to say 7 because, like you said, right, a backup goalkeeper who's been relegated twice in a row for 30 million pounds. You've got Ben White for 50 million pounds. You've got Lokonga, who's a backup. You've got Tavares, who's a backup. I think Tomoyasu is actually a decent signing. He was being scouted by Tottenham as well, I think, before they went for Emerson Royal. So I think he's a pretty decent signing, but I think they should have prioritized it better. They needed a right back, right? You've been seeing Callum Chambers and Cedric Soares in right back. So you've got to know that you need a right back first. Instead, they've signed a backup DM. They've signed a backup left back. And I don't know. Honestly, it's a shocking window from them. And Odegaard's probably a good signing, but apart from that, not that great. I would say, let's go in between 6 and 7. I'm going to say 6.5 out of 10 for them.
Yeah, I mean, on the other hand, for me, I would personally give them a 4 out of 10. I think just the prices is way too much. And obviously, we're not going to be, we can't really dictate until we see it on the pitch. But on paper, I just don't see it. I think, obviously, as I've been saying, Odegaard's their only really good sign. He's a fantastic player. He's the captain of Norway. But is he going to improve Arsenal? Has he improved Arsenal from last season? I'm not sure. We're going to find out this season. But yeah, that wraps up Arsenal. And now we'll go to the next one. Obviously, the best club in the world right now, Chelsea. Now, Chelsea, we bought in Bettinelli for, I think, £3 million. Lukaku, a biggest signing, for £97 million. And then Saul from Atletico Madrid on £3 million. So it's just over 100 mil. It's solid. It's solid. We brought in a striker, what we needed. We brought in that backup DM for a loan, and a secondary keeper, third keeper to back up Cavalier because he left. So give us your thoughts on the Chelsea one.
I think we've had a pretty good transfer window, honestly. I think Bettinelli was a free transfer, right? I'm not sure if we paid any money.
Oh no,
I think
sorry,
it was a free
and then
transfer.
Saul was 6. Saul was
Yeah,
6 million,
yeah.
I think. Yeah, so something like that.
Yeah, but yeah, I think third choice keeper, well done. He fits the homegrown quota as well. I think he's English. And then you've got Lukaku, who's the arguably, for me at least, the third best striker in the world, and he provides that experience. He has the hold-up play. He's involved in the games. And his worst ever season, he scored 15 goals, which would have been twice as much as our best player last season. So I think we've made some pretty solid signings. I would have preferred a better midfield target, honestly. I mean, I know Saul's a great midfielder, but I thought we were in the market for a DM, right? Or someone to replace Kante, which is why there were names like Tchouameni being thrown around. But Saul is a pretty great player himself, and especially I'm getting so excited just looking at the Twitter aspect of it, because how much Chelsea have been hyping up Saul, how excited Saul is to join Chelsea as well, and we've seen him say he's accepted that the past 2 seasons he hasn't been up to it, and he wants to say that I didn't come here just to be a backup. I came here to prove my worth, to show that I still am a very good player, and I want to play as good as I played 2 seasons before, like not how I've been playing in these past 2 years. So he's really motivated, so I'm really excited to see. But we've got depth in midfield, we've got a star striker, and we've got a third goalkeeper. So honestly, I would say easily a 9 out of 10 window. We definitely have a squad good enough to compete for the title now.
Yeah, I agree. I think Saul, fantastic midfielder. I mean, when we were linked with him, I was really excited, and I kind of really, if we got him over Tchouameni, I wasn't going to be complaining, and I'm not at the moment. I really think it's a fantastic signing. Obviously, Lukaku, as we kind of know, he was kind of our secondary striker choice. We were kind of going for Haaland at first, but unfortunately that busted. But Lukaku obviously already banged in 1 goal from the 2 games he's played, so he's a great start. And Bettinelli, I was watching him in training the other day, and he's doing very solid, so he's there for the games that we need him for when maybe AFCON when that happen, or the cup games. So I'll give this an overall, I've been saying this again, a 7. The only thing that that I wasn't really happy with is Koundé. Again, we don't really need him, but he's more of a long term. We've sold Zuma, so we've only got kind of 2 backup centre backs now, and for us, that's nothing kind of stuff. But if you ask tell it to a Liverpool fan or Arsenal or United fan, they're like, wow, that's heaps, and we've got quality for the centre back. So again, I would want Koundé, but again, if we didn't get him, I hope we go for him in January, because he is a talent, and we've got to make sure we do get him.
Yep, 100%. I think the issue was, it's because we were led to believe that the deal was so close to completion, and towards the end we fluffed it, right? I think that's what disappoints us more than the actual need for Koundé at the moment. But yep, we do have, we're a little short in the area, but I'm pretty sure we can cover it up. But yep, hopefully we do go for him, and yep.
Yeah, and obviously Marina, fantastic job with the outs as well. We'll touch up on the outs. We've got there's so many players that we've gotten rid of, and the main ones like Danny Drinkwater, Bakayoko, Zappa Costa. So we've got so many, and there's so many names as well. So, and I think that she's done a fantastic job with that. If you want to give a quick thoughts on the outings, and maybe who you would have seen possibly wanting to go out, maybe.
Oh, there's still so many players at the club who I would have wished would have gone, and most of the names that you mentioned, actually they're out on loan. So I mean, that's a bit of a tricky point. But I think most of them are on permanent transfers. Drinkwater's contract expires in 2022, so he's not going to be at the club after this season. And then Bakayoko is loan with an obligation to buy to AC Milan, so that's as good as a permanent transfer as well. And I think we've got a pretty solid amount. I think she got 10 million for Zappa Costa, so I think that was incredible business in my opinion. And there are a few players who I would have preferred to have been sold permanently. I think Emerson could have been a permanent transfer, but yeah, I'm pretty content with the transfer business. I think we've got 150 million or so in sales, right? If you include the under 21 sales, I think Mark Gahey was 20 million, and all these other players. So I think she's done some solid business this summer. I mean, a few young players have left the club, which has annoyed certain fans, but I think all in all, pretty decent window. We have a buyback on a few of them, so I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. There was a fantastic deals from Arena. The only person I would like to see go is Cho on a loan to BVB. I think that would have been fantastic for him to get some more game time. You know, express himself on the pitch, BVB, and play in that formation of a right wing, not a right wing back that Tuchel wants to see him in. But that wraps up Chelsea. We'll go to our next Premier League rival, and we've got United. So United obviously got Varane, Ronaldo. They got someone else. Jeez.
Jadon Sancho.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll do that again. I'll do that again. Oh, sorry.
Yep.
And that's it from Chelsea. And now we go to Man United, our next rivals, who obviously got in Ronaldo. A very big PR move, Varane and Sancho. So theirs, I think, weighed up to 107 million to be exact. So that's a very solid deals for them. I mean, it's over 100 mil. So they've broken the bank a lot, but they got in big players. So what are your thoughts on United? Because now people are saying United, they brought in Ronaldo. Does this change the title race? Are they in it more than they were before after these 3 transfers?
100%. I think, both of us actually have reservations about the manager, don't we? We've said that so many times on the stream. But I would say, looking at the squad they have, I think arguably they have a case to make for having the best squad in the league. So I would say, while Ole has done a fantastic job as a manager in acquiring his targets, but he should deliver on the pitch. But 100%, I think you can see many of these ex-United players coming out and saying that we're not favourites for the title, But in all honesty, I think you have to put some pressure this season on Manchester United, considering the caliber of players that they've got. They've got one of the best centre-backs in the world. They've got one of the best young players in the world. And they've literally gone and signed a player who's in the debate of being the best player of all time. So, I mean, I don't know how that doesn't pile on pressure. I mean, 100%, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to deliver something this season. And it could be a very long title race, because I think they definitely do have the squad there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm possibly not really scared of United, but I'm gonna give this a 9 for United. I think they filled in all the spots needed except for one, and a CDM was needed, and they still didn't bring it in. That's what makes me think that I'm not scared of United at all, because Ronaldo can play as much as he wants as a striker, but no one in the midfield is gonna give him that creativity. Yes, they got Bruno, but who's behind Bruno? They've got McTominay and Fred. So, and Sancho hasn't lived up to expectations, but I gave it a 9 because on paper, they're fantastic signings. And if they all are in their prime, well, they're going to be in a big race for the top spot. But I'm definitely not scared of United. But what are your rating for this one?
I would also have to go, I think 8 would be a solid answer, I think, in my opinion. As you mentioned, right? A DM was probably more of a necessity than Ronaldo. I would say the Ronaldo thing just happened because he wanted to leave Juventus. But even before that, there weren't any solid rumors about them signing any DM. So honestly, I just think they needed a DM, but they didn't go out in the market for one. They were never even interested in one, like, seriously. So I would have to give them an 8, I think. But they definitely do have a squad that should ideally be competing for the title. Winning it is a different story altogether, but they should definitely be competing for it in the least.
Yeah, I mean, big season ahead. I'm really excited for this. But, talk to the next Manchester team, that are supposedly in for the race is Manchester City. Now, they've only really signed Jack Grealish, even though it was they signed a couple of the youngsters, but their only real main signing, and talking about the main signings, is Jack Grealish for 100 million, as we all know. As you probably know, my opinion, I think that was a horrible signing, despising the price. And more on Jack Grealish, I think Aston Villa got a fantastic deal, but for his career, yes, you're playing in a higher team. Yes, they're going to win trophies, but I don't think we're going to see the best out of Jack Grealish as we did in Villa. But what are your thoughts on the City side?
I would have to categorize their window as an absolute failure, honestly. I mean, I know that they signed Jack Grealish, who was arguably one of the best players in the Premier League last season, but what City desperately needed was a striker, right? It could not be more obvious, especially with Jesus not performing up to it in the striking role. And, you've got Aguero, who's left your club on a free deal after, 9 years at the club. So, I mean, it could not be more obvious that you need a striker at the club. And instead of prioritizing the signing of Harry Kane, right, instead of, just splashing maybe 150. I mean, they were ready to pay 150 million for Harry Kane, and they paid 100 million for Jack Grealish. I mean, if I was in City's position, honestly, I mean, I know it's a lot different, but I would have preferred to put, how much ever you want for Harry. Go to Daniel Levy's office, say, name your price, and then pay that price for Harry Kane first before going out and signing Grealish. That's what I would have personally done, which is why I would rate their window. Actually, I would have to say about 6 or 7 out of 10, because I mean, Jack Grealish is a fantastic player, but like you said, in Pep's system, will that really get the best out of him? We don't know. I mean, we are seeing that he's been playing really well, but at Manchester City, you get the ball and in an instant you're supposed to release it and pass it away, right? That's not how it was when he was at Aston Villa. He would, take his time on the ball, dribble past a few players, hold up play. He's not going to be able to do all that at City, so it's going to be an interesting move. But I think from the City fans' point of view, I think it's going to be a massive failure. I think they should have definitely gone for a striker first. I mean, they still have one of the best squads in the league, but it's going to be hard considering, Chelsea have Lukaku and United have Ronaldo. They don't have someone capable there of scoring that 20 goals a season. So it's going to be an interesting one for them.
Yeah, I agree with exactly the same with the 6. I think just talking about the window, it's a 6. As you said, they have a fantastic squad. They didn't really need to upgrade much but one spot, and that striker role. And even if it wasn't Kane, maybe it was Martinez, or Vlahovic or someone over that Florentinian guy. So I think they should have signed someone for a striker position. But Torres and Jesus are doing well, but they're doing well in the sense that they're versing bottom teams. That's the same with Grealish. He's only scored 1 goal, and that goal, in my opinion, was not a goal. I don't think he meant to score that. So we're going to see a lot from City. We're going to see a lot of competition, and we're going to verse them in a couple of weeks as well. So that's going to be a very big game. But overall, I'm only going to give them a 6 because they need to sign that striker. But going on to another team who hasn't done anything but one signing is Liverpool. So they signed Konate for £35 million, and that was their only signing. Now, Liverpool fans have been a bit upset by this transfer. We've seen all over Twitter, all over YouTube that they're not happy with this. They needed to upgrade the striker position again, and possibly even a midfielder. But overall, I think this wasn't the best, but I still think it was better than Arsenal's. And I said this on Football Terrace. I still think this is a better transfer window than Arsenal, because we know I call Liverpool the most consistent squad. They're not the best squad; they're the most consistent. They're the 3 most consistent players: Jota, Salah, Mane. They're very consistent. They're not good; they're just consistent, and that's what makes them good in a sense. But besides that, centre back, fantastic position. Do they need to work on it? No, but I think it's still better than Arsenal, and I'm going to also give this a 5. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I want to say as well. When you've got a good squad and if there's no solid improvements on the players that you already have, you shouldn't have to go and spend it unnecessarily. That's what we did in 2017 as well, right? Which is why we're still paying for it with the likes of Drinkwater and Bakayoko and those guys, right? So if there are no clear improvements to your squad, then don't buy players just for the heck of it. That's what Arsenal did. But Liverpool, fair play to them. I think that the fans have the right to be angry. Honestly, I think you have to question the ambition of the management, because considering how much the other teams have spent, and Liverpool don't even have the best squad in the league now. And honestly, it was our game against Liverpool as well. If it was 11-on-11, I think we would have comfortably beaten them. So I would say Liverpool, I think it's a disappointing window for them. Konate doesn't even start, right? It's been Matip and Virgil van Dijk. So I don't know about that signing as well. They desperately needed another attacker. I think ever since the Werner move failed for them, they haven't gone out and signed anyone. So they haven't got the right profile, I would assume. But I think they need reinforcements there, even in midfield. They haven't signed anyone to replace Wijnaldum either, who was actually a pretty important figure last season. So I would say, probably a 5 out of 10 is fair. I mean, they've got just one signing, so it's hard to base an entire window on that. But I would definitely I mean, personally, even as a rival fan, had they signed a midfielder or a forward, right, you would have been that much more excited about the title race, but they haven't. So I'm gonna have to give it a 5 out of 10. But I really do feel sad for the Liverpool fans. I really do.
Yeah, I don't feel sad for them, to be honest, on my end. I do not like Liverpool fans at all. And I'm happy that they didn't sign an attack on midfielder, because it doesn't make them a title race. But I did give it a 5 because Konate is a fantastic defender. They're going to for a cheap price. As if they use him, probably not. But we'll go on to the biggest transfer window this team's ever had, possibly, and then the biggest window we've ever seen from a team. We weren't going to speak about it, but the PSG. They've got so many. This was a blockbuster transfer window for them. They signed Messi, Hakimi, Donnarumma, Wijnaldum, and Ramos for £71 million. all up, £71 million. Like, I'm like, how? But they've got the connection. So, I mean, what do you give this? What do you give this rating?
I mean, I would give it 11 out of 10, man. What a window that is, right? I mean, I think they signed, was it Nuno Mendes? I think it was a promising left back as well on the deadline day. I think it was loan with an option to buy from Sporting Club de Portugal or Benfica, one of them. One of the Portuguese side. So, I mean, look at that window, right? On paper, the best young goalkeeper in the world. And he obviously coming fresh off, winning player of the tournament at the Euros, right? Saving the winning penalty in the shootout in the final. And then you've got Hakimi, he's one of the best fullbacks in the world, who was voted the best fullback in Serie A. Then you've got a promising left back. Then you've got Sergio Ramos, who's won 4 Champions League titles with Real Madrid. Then you've got Wijnaldum, who was also part of Liverpool's Champions League winning squad. And then you've literally signed the greatest player of all time in Lionel Messi. So honestly, 11 out of 10, a stunning window. The best part about this is that most of their signings are free transfers as well. Donnarumma, Ramos, Messi and Wijnaldum, all 4 of them are free transfers. So, I mean, hats off to them. Their wage bill is going to be absolutely off the charts. But I mean, I don't think they care, in all honesty, as long as they get their hands on the Champions League trophy this season. But let's see how it goes. Another win for them was keeping Mbappe at the club. Now, we're not sure if he will sign that contract extension, but at least we get to witness Messi, Neymar and Mbappe together in one team. So it's going to be an interesting season for them. But let's see how it all unfolds, and if they are finally successful in their pursuit of the Champions League. But in all honesty, like ever since that Galacticos window of Real Madrid, where they signed such a host of star players, I think ever since that, this is probably the best window that I've ever seen a club have in recent times.
No, I agree. This was a massive transfer window. I gave it a 10 out of 10. But for the window, I gave it a 10 out of 10. Am I scared of PSG? Absolutely not. They're gonna have the biggest ego on their team. Like, they got Messi, Ramos. Like, they've got 2 captains already, and Marquinhos is the captain there. Like, Marquinhos is telling Messi, Ramos what to do. So I don't see them as a threat. I wonder if we had them in the Champions League. I was very happy to see that, and versing them first, because now they're only winning 1-0, 2-1 games. So against these Ligue 1 teams who are 15 to 16 on a table normally. So I'm definitely not scared of them. But for their window, like, that was absolutely amazing. It was a very fun transfer window we had. Very exciting for the chance. This is our first, obviously, transfer window we've done. Everyone was happy. We did a massive deadline day stream. We did 2.5 hour streams. We had a lot of people join, a lot of comments. So yeah, that was our transfer window for 2021. Massive for Chelsea. We hopefully to win the Premier League, because that's what we're going to be doing. You're going to mark my words. Going to come back to this video to us winning the league, and hopefully maybe make a transfer in January. But that's it from us, guys. Me, if you want to close it up.
Yeah, I think great talking about the transfers. It's shaping up to be such an exciting season. I mean, even ahead of the season, I'm so excited. But now, considering all the drama that's happened in this window, right? I mean, we've seen Messi and Ronaldo change clubs in the same window. We've seen Mbappe almost leave his club in the same window. We've signed Lukaku, and there's just so many transfers that have gone through this window, and that just makes the Premier League season that much more exciting. The Champions League season as well. So, I mean, I can't wait for it, honestly, and hopefully we do grow along the way as well. And, before Matt says it, I'm going to say it as well. As always, like and subscribe and comment, guys, because that's how we can grow, because, it's always great to talk football.
Yeah, 100% agree. Obviously, everyone needs to like, subscribe, and again, comment which team was your favorite window. And we'll be back live soon, so we'll catch you guys later. See ya.